really interesting thing is how capabilities have grown. And,
Yeah.
if you look, I got my first Shelly product in the summer of 2018,
Mhm.
7 years ago. And
Yeah.
Shelly just had their seventh birthday. And the products back then I thought were absolutely astounding. And this is
Yeah.
as I was a consumer.
Yeah.
So, unofficially, I started with Shelly in the summer of 2019, officially in the beginning of 2020. So, well before I even dreamed of having this as a job, I'm thinking these are so cool. And I remember when a friend of mine, Carrie, and we first sort of were talking with Demeter back when everything was small and it was a much tighter community. And we're talking about how, you know, the reason most people install Tasmota firmware on these relays is so they get MQTT.
Mm.
And then a week and a half later, he's like, "Hey, can you test this firmware? Had MQTT in it." So
Right.
it's a very nimble company. It always has been since the beginning. But that specific problem with the the agricultural use case with dealing with power
Yep.
outage and freezing weather. I tried a half dozen different things on my workbench trying to come up with something. We didn't have scripting yet. And then within a month of having scripting available, I realized, wait, I can go back to this problem and now it's a portable solution.
Yeah.
And you do it like that. You don't have to wire up something funky to try to figure out if the
Mm.
power is on. And you don't have to jump through all of these hoops. You've already got a battery backup for your network. You know, you've already got that at your business.
Yeah.
So literally just getting the two plugs and popping one in the wall and one on the battery backup.
Yeah.
So the way that we grow, the things that we add, they might seem small at the time, but like we add KNX into the firmware. And
Hmm.
there are no big bands with trumpets and tubas marching down the street saying, "Hey, we've got KNX now." But now there are panel shops here in North Carolina in North America, not North Carolina. I'm from the backwoods of North Kakalaki, fellas, so it slips some. Um, but I was contacted by a panel shop saying, "Hey, we just found out you've got KNX." There
Yeah.
are only four in North America working with KNX, and one of them has already found out and reached out to us. So it's you know, every little addition we add means something to somebody. And
Yeah.
it's just finding out, is this something that the majority of people can use? And if so, let's show them a couple of ways to do it. And if not, how do we get this to the people who really need it? And so
Yeah.
really that's what has become my mission here. Um, and plus, as I was mentioning to Phil before you hopped on, we moved to a new office. And what I've done is I've set up a small classroom here. So whereas before I had my office, we had some logistics operations, which moved to a 3PL service, and I had my workshop and we had, other people's offices. Now it's just my office, a small office where we might ship some things occasionally if we have to send something special to somebody, like somebody testing a product for us. But the main room here is a classroom. I've got four desks, so I can have eight people there. I've got a TV on a cart. I've got a big whiteboard on a cart. And I've got three workbenches where I can have up to nine people wiring Shelly. So the idea is to bring people here and share what's inside of my head and put it into theirs.
Nice. That's
So
Yeah.
awesome. Are those, is the plan that those classes will be available more to your commercial customers, those kind of things, or is it kind of to whatever, whoever, like still working that out?
no, I'm kind of a stickler on this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell somebody you can't come to my class just because you're not a professional electronics installer.
Right.
If you want to come, you can come. I'm teaching Shelly, and I don't care if you're a consumer or you're a dealer or whatever. We do have stuff for dealers, but I'm
Yeah.
going to have classes for consumers. I'll have meetups for consumers.
That's awesome.
I'm hoping to start doing a weekly live stream on Friday mornings. So, and I'm maybe 6 or 8 weeks out from starting all of this.
That's cool.
I'm just getting caught up from moving to the new office. So there, and this will be specializing in North American wiring and use cases for here.
Yep.
Every country's system is a little different. I wouldn't consider trying to teach Phil how to wire something in Australia. I don't want Phil to get zapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
My
Yeah.
uh,
electricity hurts. Just
Right.
yeah,
But at the same time, if I recall correctly, you have to hire an electrician for installs anyway, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
everything.
So so the majority of the folks that I'm going to be working with will either be professional electronics installers who typically would work with low voltage or with consumers. And it's
Yeah.
going to, I'm going to do a combination of like training for dealers. I'll be doing training for solutions. I'll be live streaming about products and solutions. I'll have meetups for people to come in and meet each other and exchange ideas. And I want to do a meetup every month for Shelly users and a meetup every month for Home Assistant users.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a blast with Home Assistant Community Day.
Yeah.
I should have scheduled it for 6 hours. We did 3. Um, and we had people coming from all over Florida for that, and it was so cool to meet
Yeah.
everybody and talk about ideas. And we even had some guys who weren't even Home Assistant users. There's a HomeKit user, and this guy's absolutely brilliant. Made me feel like a caveman, and I'm
Yeah.
I'm immersed in this stuff every day. And he comes along, and I'm completely blown away because this guy is way out of my class and what I can do. And
Yeah.
so, the ability to meet these guys and share ideas with them and just give them little tips like, hey, did you know we have KNX? Or hey, we've added Matter to all of the Gen 4 and Gen 3 products. We've added Zigbee. Just telling them things they might not have had a chance to find out about,
Yeah.
and let them go from there and see what they.
Well, it's a nice two-way street too, right? It's you can kind of show them what you guys are about and blah blah blah, and they and vice versa can kind of give you what's in their heads and be like, hey, you know what would be cool is if we could do X, Y, Z, and you guys take that back to your product teams.
If you tell me an idea, I'm stealing it,
Yeah.
because I'm going
Yeah.
to turn around and I'm going to write a solution guide with a parts list and wiring instructions and setup instructions. I'm going to share it with everybody.
Yeah.
So if you want
Yeah.
to keep your idea to yourself, don't tell me, because I'm going to make sure everybody can.
That's funny.